If I'm a man and I like eating female M&Ms, am I still gay? Yes. Yes, I am. I'm Dr. Jake, YouTube's loudest and proudest physician, but you can just call me M&M. All my friends do. Today, I want to talk about this delicious chocolatey mess that's come up with the Mars company. It's a little bit ridiculous, honestly, because the mascots of M&M, who are like the personified M&Ms, they've got a little bit out of control. That's kind of a lie. They haven't gone out of control. It's Republicans like Tucker Carlson who have gone out of control. So if you've never seen an M&M before, it is this chocolatey candy with a candy shell. The old tagline for them was melt in your mouth, not in your hand, which is kind of true. If it's really hot, it's still gonna melt in your hand. I'm a doctor, I'm a scientist, I know these things, okay? But recently the Mars company has come under fire for removing the high-heeled boots from the green M&M mascot, which is kind of weird because they're literally shoes on a personified piece of chocolate. And then in September, the Mars company introduced the purple M&M, and that has turned into an entire shitstorm, and they put out this statement. They said, "America, let's talk. In the last year, we've made some changes to our beloved spokes candies. We weren't sure if anyone would even notice, and we definitely didn't think it would break the internet. But now we get it. Even a candy's shoes can be polarizing," which was the last thing M&Ms wanted because we're all about bringing people together. Therefore, we have decided to take an indefinite pause from the spokes candies. In their place, we are proud to introduce a spokesperson America can agree on, the beloved Maya Rudolph. We are confident Ms. Rudolph will champion the power of fun to create a world where everyone feels they belong. And I'll get back to this statement in a little bit, but first, let's just talk about gender and candy. It's literally just crushed up cacao beans and milk and sugar and I guess whatever else you want to put on it. You could potentially put like cayenne pepper in it. People do that. They make like hot chocolate, which is another thing. Hot chocolate is another thing. That's just more milk, I guess. But in any case, you have these candies. They don't actually have gender, but M&M created these spokes candies, and they've had an interesting history. The idea for M&Ms came about in the 1930s, but they started making them in 1941, and they were originally a ration for soldiers, essentially. They were chocolate that was covered in a hard candy shell, so it wouldn't melt, and it could actually be used on the road, if you will. And initially, these candies were only sold to the military. The US military was a huge customer for M&Ms. But eventually they really became a widespread phenomenon, and their marketing was impeccable because chocolate that melts outside of your mouth is bad, like when your partner leaves some on the seat and then you realize only 30 minutes later, once you've gone into a fancy restaurant, that there is chocolate on your butt. Of course, that's never happened to me, and my boyfriend is definitely not sitting behind the camera right now scowling at me for telling that story. But getting to the point of this video, in 1995, M&M introduced the spokes candies. There were originally just 6 M&M spokes candies, but the purple M&M spokes candy was introduced in September of 2022. Even before the purple M&M came out, conservative reporters were going crazy because the Mars company changed her shoes. She originally wore high-heeled shoes, and then she switched to sneakers, which I don't think is that special.
The green M&M, you will notice, is no longer wearing sexy boots. Now she's wearing sensible sneakers. Why the change? Well, according to M&M's, quote, "We all win when we see more women in leading roles, because leading women do not wear sexy boots. Leading women wear frumpy shoes. The frumpier, the better."
I think we can all see that this is ridiculous. We've changed her shoes from sexy heels to another type of footwear that women wear that can also be sexy sometimes. She's an M&M. Why does she have to be sexy? Does it even matter? The only people who are ruined by the green M&M not wearing sexy heels are green M&M fetishists, and guess what? They can go look at prior tapings with the green M&M. And I'm sure someone will make their fanfic, their porn with the green M&M, right? Rule 34. If you can think of it, it exists in porn on the internet, and let me actually just look that up. Yeah, it definitely exists. I find it a little bit amusing. And you know what? I just found porn of the red M&M as well. And you know what? Nobody's complaining about the red M&M wearing sneakers.
The other big change is that the brown M&M has, quote, transitioned from high stilettos to lower block heels. Also less sexy.
I don't know why that triggered him too. He seems to have a lot of issues with the shoes that women wear. He's not wearing these shoes, but he wants to control what women do with their shoes, which I think translates to him just wanting to control women.
That's progress. M&Ms will not be satisfied until every last cartoon character is deeply unappealing and totally androgynous.
The green M&M is a fictional character that represents a candy. Like, this is just patently ridiculous. Why do we care if she's sexy at all? Like, I'm not going to have sex with candy. I don't know if you are. If you are, that's great. That's your kink. I'm not going to kink shame. It's chocolate.
It is chocolate.
It's chocolate. It doesn't have gender. You can't have sex with it. I mean, you can, but it's going to be a little bit messy, and it doesn't care what gender you are. You probably don't care what gender candy is because candy doesn't have gender.
Until the moment you wouldn't want to have a drink with any one of them. That's the goal.
Like, it's not America's Next Top Model. Women don't serve you. They don't wear shoes just to please you. In fact, they wear shoes to protect their feet. Some women also wear shoes because they look sexy. Love that too. You do you.
When you're totally turned off, we've achieved equity.
No. Achieving equity would be if we let the male M&Ms wear high heels. That would be achieving equity. What you want is for only women to be able to wear high heels, and they have to wear them all the time. Because I'm sure there are a lot of women who think that you're an egotistical nutsack and that you'd look better with no head.
Meanwhile, in a nod to the burgeoning wellness movement, the orange M&M will, quote, acknowledge and embrace his anxiety. And actually, if you look at him, the orange M&M does appear very anxious. Maybe he doesn't like all the ugly new shoes he sees around him. Maybe he liked the sexy boots.
Or maybe he just has anxiety. Maybe it's not about the shoes that people wear. Maybe you're the only one who wants to tell people what they should wear on their feet.
Maybe the orange M&M is a secret sexist himself.
It's chocolate. It can't be sexist. It doesn't have a brain. It's also not you, so I don't really care what it does. I do care what you do, so stop being an idiot. But anyway, moving on to the purple M&M. So in September of 22, they introduced the purple M&M, and again, conservative reporting went a little bit crazy because she was, quote, woke.
And the brand new character is Purple M&M, which is supposed to represent inclusivity and acceptance.
I mean, take a look at this song that she sings.
I'm just gonna be me. I'm just gonna be me.
What I see is a piece of chocolate singing a song about loving herself. She looks very similar to the other pieces of chocolate with just a different color. She's a little bit awkward and she's just gonna be herself. How is that woke? I think it's actually quite nice that they have a message that's just you should love yourself. That's great. Why is that objectionable? I don't think this is a polarizing statement to make. I don't really understand why anyone has an issue with it, but
Mars has committed to never again assigning an identity to the candy we produce. Instead, we'll let each candy decide for himself or herself or Skittle self who they really are.
it's chocolate on the inside and candy shell on the outside. Like, it's not rocket science. They're not claiming that M&Ms are Skittles. It's purple, which is a color that is often associated with trans people.
I think it's a female character, but I'm pretty sure they haven't said. Maybe it's transgender.
The M&M is not trans. It is an M&M. It is chocolate. But they literally said nothing about that. It's just an M&M, and it likes itself. That doesn't make you trans. That just makes you a person with high self-esteem. I don't understand what the issue is. But I swear, anything that's about being a reasonable human, conservative reporters will find a way to make it awful. And that's just what they've done. That's what they've done. So of course, Mars, in response to all this controversy, released a statement saying they're not going to use the spokes candies anymore at all. They just axed them. And I get why they did it, right? They want to sell as many M&Ms as possible. And it's kind of sad. I think they're very cute. I actually really like the spokes candies. They're extremely well branded for M&M. Instead, they're going to be using Maya Rudolph. And don't get me wrong, I love Maya Rudolph. She's clearly not as well branded for M&Ms, and they're probably not going to dress her up as an M&M because then she'll look like a spokes candy. And I actually have some mixed feelings about this announcement. Number one, I kind of like the spokes candies. I kind of like the fact that the orange one is anxious and the green one is like super supportive. The purple one likes herself. I think they're all really inoffensive and great. They're not woke. They're just candy. Right? They're talking candy that has a message that they love you. I mean, they don't love you. They give you diabetes, but you know what I mean. But on a positive note, they chose Maya Rudolph, who I think is also a pretty inoffensive person. And I just hope that if racist conservative reporters get angry at Maya Rudolph, because they will, they hate everyone who's not a white guy. I hope that Mars says, okay, we're not going to switch this spokesperson. We're going to stick with Maya Rudolph because we're not going to kowtow to the likes of these idiots who just don't care about anybody except themselves. They only care about people who look like and act like they do. If these people would just paint with all the colors of the chocolate, everything would be fine. And even if it were possible that a purple M&M could be trans, why does it even matter? They're not telling children to become trans. And even if they were, that doesn't work. Accepting trans people doesn't make people more likely to be trans. It just makes them feel better about themselves and not kill themselves. That's what it does. I'm convinced that what these reporters want is to just alienate all trans people, alienate all fat people too, because that was another one of the arguments, that this M&M is obese. Like, I just don't get it. Someone else's obesity just doesn't impact you on a day-to-day basis. It literally has no bearing on your life. So why does it even matter? Why does it matter at all? It matters to me as a doctor when I'm helping someone to become more healthy and helping them deal with their obesity. And that doesn't mean shaming them into losing weight. It could mean saying, hey, your mental health is at stake here, and if you don't want to lose weight, let's figure out a way to keep you healthy otherwise. But if you're not someone's doctor trying to help them stay healthy, then step off. Other people's health and their weight are really not your problem. Oh, and you know what? The M&Ms would subscribe to my channel, so I think you should too.